Hey guys, so we're going to be starting lesson 4.1 today, and good news, it's only review solving equations. So two things. If you are done with the test, I want you to pause the video right here, and I want you to work with your group members on numbers 1 through 5. If you did not finish the test and you are doing this for homework, you can just go and start right now, okay? So let's go ahead and jump right in. So what we're going to do is you're going to see 5 problems. You should be looking at the table, and I want you to tell me what mistake Kara solved. So Kara solved the following equations, but was having some trouble. In each of the following problems, Kara made a mistake. Examine each problem and explain in words her mistake, then solve the equation correctly. Alright, so when we're looking at this, so this is the first example, we're going to look at what Kara did. And as you can see, she's trying to get this t by itself, so she divided both sides by 6. So what she should have done, though, is she should have divided both sides by negative 6. So what mistake did she make? She did not divide by a negative. Divide by a negative. Alright, so if she solved it correctly, it would have looked like negative 6t equals 30. We're going to divide both sides by negative 6, which means t would equal negative 5 and not positive 5. Alright, next one. She started by minusing 8 on both sides. That step is correct, but do you guys see how it's a negative 5c? And here it's positive. It should have stayed a negative 5c. So explain her mistake. Still, did not divide by a negative. Did not divide by a negative. So if we solved it correctly, we'll just jump down. It should have been negative 5c equals negative 45. And what we should have done is divided both sides by negative 5, which would have gotten me c equals positive 9 instead of negative 9. Alright, next one. This one's a little tricky because it's a number over a fraction, and she started off subtracting this 1 on both sides. The problem with that is if we look at this division problem, x plus 1 is being divided by 3. So she should have started by multiplying both sides by 3. She should have got rid of that multiplication first. So her mistake, she should have multiplied both sides by positive 3. So the original equation was x plus 1 divided by 3 equals 2. She should have started off by multiplying both sides by 3. And a mistake students make is they want to distribute. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to cancel stuff out. That would have left me with x plus 1 equals 6. And minus both sides by 1 to get x is equal to 5. That's your final answer right there. Alright, next one. Let's see what we did here. This person started by distributing the negative 2 here. So negative times a positive is a negative, but a negative times a negative is a positive. So what she did there, that was her first mistake. That multiplication of negative 2 to this negative 2 should have been positive 4. So she did not multiply the negatives correctly. She did not multiply the negatives correctly. So if we were to solve this correctly, it would look like negative 2 times the quantity of x minus 2 equals 14. I'm going to distribute that negative 2 to both of those to get negative 2x. That will become plus 4 equals 14. Subtract both sides by 4 to get negative 2x is equal to 10. Divide both sides by negative 2 to get x is equal to negative 5. Alright, and the last one on this table. So let's see what she did. She started by distributing here, and we had the plus 4, so distributing was correct. And then it had 3 plus 4, but then it just had 4. She forgot to add this 3, this 4. This 3 just disappeared. Oh, and it didn't disappear. She added this 3 to this 6. But the problem is you can only add numbers that have the same variables. So this is x's, and these are just constants, numbers with no variables. You can't add 3 and 6 together to get 9. You can only add 3 and 4 together to get 7. So we could say she added variables. And she added, let me start over here. She added variables and constants together. Variables and constants together. You're not allowed to do that. So let's go and look what she should have done. So if we had 3 times the quantity of 2x plus 1 plus 4 is equal to 10, and I would distribute the 3, that would give me 6x plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. I can combine the 3 and the 4 because they both don't have variables. So that would be a plus 7 equals 10. So then when I minus 7, it would be 6x equals 3. Divide both sides by 6 to get x equals 1/2. Okay, so that was the correct solution. Now it says, what could have Kara done to have catch her mistake? Well, what you do is once you get a variable, you can plug it back in and see if it's a true statement. Okay, so she could have plugged in the value for x. And solved again. So what do I mean by all that? So let's say I have this equation, a super easy one. Some number plus 1 equals 5. What is that mystery number? Let's find out. If I minus 1 from both sides, I'm going to get x is equal to 4. So what does that even mean? That means if I were to plug in 4 back in for x, that should be a true statement. 4 instead of x plus 1 must equal 5. And obviously when I solve that, I get 5 equals 5, and that is a true statement. That is what it's called when we are verifying something. We've done this before with our y equals mx plus b by verifying a point. Same idea. Alright, so now let's go ahead and solve, and we're going to verify for 7 and 8. So I'm going to distribute the negative 2. This will be negative 8 plus 2x is equal to 6x plus 8. I'm going to minus 8 on both sides, and minus 2x on both sides. Now it's going to give me negative 16 is equal to positive 4x. I'm just going to divide each term by 4. This is going to give me x equals negative 4. Now that I know what x is, I'm going to resolve this by plugging it back in. So it's going to look like negative 2 times the quantity of 4 minus negative 4 is equal to 6 times negative 4 plus 8. Now these should equal the same thing. So I'm going to start with solving this. It's going to be negative 2 times the quantity of positive 8. It's going to equal 6 times 24, or excuse me, 6 times negative 4 is negative 24 plus 8. And then I'm going to do negative 2 times 8 to give me negative 16 equals negative 8 plus positive 8 is negative 16. That is a true statement, therefore negative 4 is the correct answer. Alright, this one's a tad trickier because we have fractions and whatnot. But remember, when I have two fractions separated by an equal sign, I can solve by cross multiplying. This would look like 3 times the quantity of x plus 1. I got that by multiplying these. And that is going to equal 2 times the quantity of x minus 1. I got that by cross multiplying these. So when I distribute, I'm going to get 3x plus 3 is equal to 2x minus 2. So then when I solve for x, I'm going to minus 2x on both sides. And that is going to give me x plus 3 is equal to negative 2. And I'm going to minus 3 on both sides to get x is equal to negative 5. So I'm going to go back to my original equation. Oops. I'm going to go back to my original equation, and every time I see an x, I'm going to substitute a negative 5 and see if I get the right answer. So negative 5 plus 1 all over negative 5 minus 1 is going to equal to negative 4 all over negative 6. Negative 4 over negative 6 is positive 2 over 3. And that's what my equation needed to equal, 2 over 3. So that's how you know I got the correct answer. So the next few problems, I'm going to go ahead and work on the next few with you for about the next 5 minutes. And any ones, you don't need to verify these, you just need to solve. So remember, this one's a tad tricky because you have a negative 5 out in front of the parentheses, but that's what you're distributing, a negative 5 to the n and to the positive 1. So that's going to look like 8, and then negative 5 times n is minus 5n, then negative 5 times negative 1 is a positive 5. And that's going to equal negative 3n minus 2. From there, I'm going to add 5n on both sides. And I'm also going to combine like terms, the 8 plus the 5. So that's going to give me 13 is equal to 2n minus 2. And then I'm going to add 2 on both sides to get 15 is equal to 2n. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2 to get n equals 15 over 2, which I would just leave it there, or it's 7 1/2. If you want, you can go to a mixed fraction, but you can leave it just like that. Alright, so then the next one, you're going to distribute. I have this 2/5 out here. So actually what you could do, since you have all these fractions, is do a fraction buster. So remember, you're going to multiply the fraction buster to each term. So you can multiply this term by 5, this term by 5, this term by 5, and this term by 5. These 5s are going to cancel, and you're going to be left with 2 times the quantity of x minus 5 plus 45 is equal to 2x plus 35. Then you can start by distributing this 2 inside the parentheses to get 2x minus 10 plus 45 is equal to 2x plus 35. Alright, so I'm going to try to get the x's on one side. So I'm going to minus 2x on both sides. So these are going to be canceled. And then I'm going to have negative 10 equals 30, negative 10 plus 45 is 35, and then I still have this 35 here. That's going to equal 35. This is one of those special case scenarios when you get them all by itself. I want you to notice I have 35 equals 35. That's a true statement, so you're going to have all real numbers. So any number you plug in here will be a solution. Alright. Now I have this one. You can go ahead and begin here. I have 4.2t is equal to, and then I'm going to have a negative 4, and I'm going to distribute it to these terms. So let's go ahead and take out a calculator to make sure we're going to do this right. I'm going to have negative 4 times 0.6t. That's going to be negative 2.4t. I'm going to have a negative times a negative, which is a positive. And then I'm just going to do 4 times 1.2, which is 4.8. I'm going to add 2.4 to both sides, 2.4t. This is going to give me 6.6t is equal to 4.8. And now I'm going to divide both sides by 6.2t, 6.6t. Sorry, let me get this all cleaned up. I'm trying to get t by itself, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 6.6. So this is going to cancel, and then you're going to be left with 0.727273. So I don't like that as a decimal, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a decimal buster. If I multiply the numerator and denominator by 10, I'm going to have 48 over 66. And I'm just going to start breaking these down by 2. So 48 divided by 2 is 24 over 33. And that's as far as I can. No, I can break it down a little more. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 33 divided by 3 is 11. So that is your final answer here. I would like you now to pause the video, and we will finish the next 3 on the next video.